Yo, I wanted to tell a story of first kind of getting involved in martial arts. I think now when people at my gym they see me as like a more of an example of what to do as far as health and fitness and so on. And I wasn't always like that, and I wasn't. I didn't always have the drive and determination that I do this at this moment. So I wanted to talk about my first tell a story of how I first got involved. So as a youngster, I always loved martial arts. I always loved um, you know movies and stuff like that. I did a little bit of kickboxing when I was about 12, and I really liked it. And it seemed like I had a little bit of a talent for some of it. My athleticism for striking was quite good. And when I was about 19, this is in 2004, I was a huge UFC fan. It was just starting to become popular. The Ultimate Fighter was like right then or shortly after. And a couple of my friends were my close friends in high school. They were involved in it. They actually started to train. Sorry, I'm crossing a street. If you're wondering why my head's going back and forth like a bird. They were involved in it. They were actually training in MMA. Actually, there was a small MMA gym in London where they were training at it. Anyways, we'd get together on the weekends and we'd drink and and wrestle around and mix it up in people's living rooms and watch the fights and classic kind of idiot UFC fan. And I started to work out at about 20, 21. I almost joined a gym in London. Then I moved, and I almost joined a gym there, and then I moved back, and blah blah blah. Anyways, a few years later, it was I was I think about 26, 27, and I was just kind of getting my it would have been 26, and I was just kind of getting to be more in shape. Now this is I still smoked cigarettes, and I was a pretty heavy smoker, and I still drank, and I was a pretty heavy drinker still, and not as heavy as I had been, but still, I was improving, but was still had a long way to go. And the gym I was at was this gym. It used to be called Gold's Gym. It was a really beautiful facility. I used to actually, I worked there. I sold memberships for a little while, and there was an area back by the martial arts area that was had a heavy bag, and I used to go back there and hit it all the time as part of my workout. And the guy who owned it would always stop and talk to me, and he's like, "Yeah, come on out for a free trial, whatever." And I really wanted to try it, but I was nervous. Obviously, I wasn't in good shape, and I for sure have a lot of social anxiety when it comes to being around new people. And anyways, I did it. I went to a boxing class one night, and I went to the boxing class, and it was, pretty intense for me, as I didn't really do a whole lot of my own cardio besides hitting the bag. And but it was good. I made it through. I did okay, and then I got a ton of compliments from the instructor. He was he was like, you have natural this and natural that, and you can tell that you've trained before, and it was like a bunch of like ego boosting shit. And I felt great when I left there. I wasn't really that sore, a little bit in my calves, but I wasn't too bad. And then a couple nights later, there was a Muay Thai class. This is where it gets spicy. And so I'm gonna go to this Muay Thai class. And the Muay Thai class was bigger, and it was. I went to the class, and I had this. The instructor came up, and he was like, "Hey man, is this your first class?" And I go, "First Muay Thai, yeah." And he's like, "You're gonna die tonight." And he smirked at me and walked off. And I was like, "Okay, that's cool. Whatever." So I don't remember exactly what we were doing in the warm-up, but the warm-up was brutal. And the workout itself was like conditioning. Like it would be like grab the bag and 3 minutes of knees, or 3 minutes of 1-2s, or 3 minutes of high kicks, whatever. It was brutal conditioning. And I was partnered up with some really good people, and And they were really encouraging, and I had to stop a couple times, but I was able to kind of push through the workout. It was really long, it was grueling. Everything was ugly about it. And at the end, I remember he was having us do sit-ups to finish the workout, but he would walk over with a Thai pad, and when you would go down to the bottom, he would smack you on the stomach with the Thai pad. And he did it to the couple of the guys in the class that were fighters, and he passed by some more casual people, and he smacked a couple more, this one young girl who's a fighter, and whatever, and he went past some people, and then he stopped at me, and he did it to me a couple times. And I was like, why is he stopping at me? I mean, like, I didn't, I'm out of shape, I'm a slob, right? And I didn't think of myself as being worthy, I guess, of getting my abs hit like that. Anyways, so class was done. I was gassed, but I was so pumped. I was so pumped about this class and this experience, and it felt really good, and everybody was so encouraging, and I was on top of the world. So I left class. I went to the hot tub. One of the guys that I was partnered with, who was a young fighter, he was in the hot tub with me, and we just sat and chatted. And he was like, "Hey man, you have good technique, and you're not too old, and whatever." And and I was like, "Oh man." And the whole time I kind of pretend, I'm kind of like, almost like it's like I'm pretending to be somebody that I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not this person who's in shape, I'm not an athlete, I'm not just kind of hanging near them, you know what I mean? And anyways, I had this great talk with the guy. He was a really great guy. I got out of the hot tub and I was like, I couldn't believe how sore I was. And so I went home, and I got back to my place, and I was on fire. My apartment was talking to my wife, then girlfriend, and I was just going on and on about how great I felt, and how amazing it was, and how I'm so pumped to do it again, and all this stuff. And I was like so excited about doing this. And I went to the fridge and I grabbed a beer, and I was drinking a beer or whatever, and talking about it, and like on fire, at the time I was so excited about it. I was such a fan of all these things, Muay Thai, the guy was playing the music, the Thai music during the drills and everything, and I was like, man, I just felt so good. And then I sat down on my couch and put on the TV or whatever, I was drinking my beer, and I lit up a cigarette, and I took one puff of that cigarette, and I wheezed the smoke in, and I wheezed the smoke out, and I coughed, and I put the cigarette down, and I had the most, one of the most depressing moments of my life. And I looked down at that cigarette and the beer, and I was like, had this epiphany moment, and it was like, I cannot do this and do that. I can't be both people. I have to be one or the other. And I was like, I can't. I was so excited about this class that I just done, and this whole world that's now opening up, and it was like, but I'm gonna have to quit smoking and drinking, and I wasn't ready. At least that's what I was telling myself in my head, I can't do it yet. I'm not there. And it was like a harsh moment of reality that really, really hurt. I went back to, I think, one more class, and I did some jiu-jitsu with a guy there once before or once after that. But I was still on this I was still connected to this world. And it actually took me to have a child to get rid of it all, to actually get healthy. It took the birth of my son to kick me into high gear to get on the path, and or at least all the way on the path. So when you have these, everybody starts somewhere. Everybody had a rough go at a time. And that was when I was 26 years old. And there's people who are going to be 20, and I didn't actually start jiu-jitsu until I was 20, until I was 38. 28. Yeah, 28 was when I started jiu-jitsu. So there's people who are in their mid-20s who are about to start jiu-jitsu, and they're kind of hesitant about it and whatever, thinking maybe I'm too old, maybe I can't do it. You can do it. If I can fucking do it, then you can do it. Because I was, I smoked, 2 packs of cigarettes a day. I drank I don't know, 60 plus beers a week. Plus, that was like a week at home. That was a normal work week. I go out on the weekends or go out with friends or something, and it's everything is more. And terrible eating habits, no physical activity that would have like raised my heart rate. I mean, barely at all from 16 or 17 years, like 16 years old till about then, about 25. I had a few things that I did that were good workouts, but I never really pushed my heart rate and anything like that, especially cardio wise. So don't give up on it. Not everybody starts out as an athlete and finishes as one. You know what I mean? Not everybody can do that. Sometimes it takes it's like pushing over a Coke machine. Sometimes it takes a few rock it back and forth a few times. You know what I mean? So rock that bitch.